It's great they extended the run.
Okay. Great. You ready? I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is the question.
Ah.
All right. You ready? I'm ready. One. Sorry. No problem. 1, 2, 3. Hi, welcome to the National Critics' Choice Online News. I'm Robin Stienberg, and welcome to the Stienberg Review. And today we have a very exciting guest with us today, and there's none other than Mr. Harvey Tomlinson and also Mr. Mervyn Farkas, who has just released his movie again, Wits End. That was first produced in Singapore years ago, and it was the first American film.
1969.
That's right. You know, it was the first American film produced in Singapore itself, and his book is available at all leading bookstores and also perhaps in Amazon. And Wits End is a wonderful story on how this film was made. Mr. Harvey, tell us, how important this movie is now being shown in Singapore again for the very first time after many years. And how does Marvin feel about it right now? Yes.
Well, it's a really extraordinary story. 43 years ago, this group of Vietnam War correspondents was sitting around in a bar in Saigon, and they suddenly had the idea in an apartment in Saigon, and they suddenly had the idea to make a feature film. None of them had ever made a film before. But they went to Hong Kong and New York to raise the funding. They recruited a cult director from a cloud of pot smoke in the East Village of New York. And then of all the places in the world to choose to film this, they selected Singapore. So it's a real clash of cultures. You have on the one hand the avant-garde libertarian New York culture of the 1960s, meeting the rather straight-laced and conservative Singapore society of that time.
Amazing. And I'd like to ask one question to Marvin. Mr. Marvin, why Singapore was chosen to be a place to make a film?
Because that was a place that Ian had a boat, his boat. And but when we made the deal, he sold the boat. So the Australian entrepreneurs,
So it is a very fulfilling experience for you.
Yes.
Very nice. And Mr. Harvey, now that you have bought the rights to have this film and the book, be made available in Asia, how do you feel about it? Do you feel that Asia and Singapore is ready for such content?
Well, we have been really pleasantly surprised and amazed really by the reaction to this film. We came here 6 months ago to the Arts House in Singapore, and this had really become a forgotten film in Singapore. It was never screened here. It had a limited distribution in the US and a few other places, but it had never been shown in Singapore. And we came to the Arts House, which is a font of knowledge about Singapore's cinema history. Of course, Singaporeans are very proud of their cinema, and rightly so. They'd never even heard of this film. So it's really a forgotten masterpiece. And I think what's very attractive to many Singapore people is this film inadvertently, because it was all filmed on location in Singapore, inadvertently captured a city that has, in the 43 years since it was made, disappeared, or largely disappeared. It captured the flavour of a different era. And that is very evocative and nostalgic for many Singapore people, I think. Because surprisingly, it's quite rare, I believe, to have colour footage of Singapore from that time.
Amazing. Sir, Mr. Marvin, how do you like Singapore comparing yesterday and today? Do you still love Singapore?
I know. I love Singapore back in those days, but the taste now is
Different.
But it certainly changed a lot.
I understand. But is there any one particular food in Singapore that you miss most? That you can't?
Yeah.
What is that?
fish and head fish and head soup.
Oh, fish head soup.
Right? Yeah.
Amazing. And so once again, could you give us, Mr. Marvin, could you give us one advice to the young people today who wants to pursue to be a producer like yourself?
Well, I was one time to producer, but I must tell the students that they should go ahead and with the plans
So just go ahead and do what you want to do.
yeah. Go ahead and do it. Producing film is very hard, but she should carry on with
the vision and the dream, right?
yeah.
That's right. And Mr. Harvey, before we go, many have asked, and they would like to pose this question to you: why did you choose to take this project Wits End and to distribute this product here in Asia? What was the compelling passion in you, burning in you, that you love this project, that you want to go ahead with it?
Well, the story of the making of Wits End is just replete with amazing characters, extraordinary stories, and there were so many twists and turns in the making of this film, and the sum result is just something really unique. And as I say, it's a distillation of the atmosphere of a more colourful time, perhaps. One great thing about the film is that everything in it is real. The hookers are real. The triad boss is played by a real triad boss.
Yeah.
And the result is something really, really quite unique. I think the clash of cultures thing is very interesting as well. And really, Asia is a fusion of cultures, and this book and the film reflect that.
So what will be the one lesson that you have learned undertaking this project so far between you and Mervyn?
Well, I think Marvin's just said it. His philosophy of just getting up and doing it and worrying about it later, that was very much the spirit of Wits End. This bunch of guys who'd never made a film before, and they encountered all kinds of difficulties, but they just went ahead and did it. And 43 years later, that act still has repercussions. It's still touching people now. They made a difference.
Well, Mr. Marvin, thank you so much for sharing with us and your legacy. And thank you, Mr. Harvey, for making this film available today in the 21st century here in Southeast Asia and throughout the world.
Thank you. Well, just to clarify, we're the publisher, so we made the book available, not the film.
Okay.
But I hope people will watch the film as well.
But how did they able to get the film? Is there any way for them to get the film? Is it through Amazon or?
There are plans underway to issue a new version of the film, but currently it's only available in bootleg versions, as far as I know.
Yeah.
So for the moment, you'll have to make do with the story of how the film was made.
Well, folks, there you go. You have the answers. Please get on to Amazon or all good bookstores in Singapore or in Southeast Asia, Wits End, and you could actually contact the Make Do Publishing at their website www.makedopublishing.com for more information. Once again, I'm Robin Stienberg. Thank you for joining me at this Wits End book launch as well as the movie premiere.
Yeah, what is,
Thank you, Robin.
What is your newspaper?
It's online news.
Online TV.
It's online TV.
On
Yes.
online.
Yes.